Hi, and welcome to this Android video on services. We're going to talk about the first type of service, which is just a simple service that we have to start and stop. And this service is just going to calculate the average of a series of numbers that we enter in a text edit. Okay, so we have an edit text field here, and we have two buttons, and of course we have some prompt text. And the first thing we're going to do is look at the main activity. The main activity, all it does is it looks for that edit text by finding it by its view ID, and then it sets up an intent. So the first button is answered by this method called start service, and the second button is answered by a method called stop service. Start service gets a string of numbers, a string array of numbers as strings from that numbers text, getting its text, converting it to a string, and then splitting it on the space character. Now, this is a very simple way to do this. In production code, we would do something else. We probably wouldn't enter numbers. We would enter them one at a time, or we would enter them with a keypad. But here, the point is to show how to get these to a service, not to do some fancy user interface stuff. So then, we take that string array and convert it to an integer array by going new int and then to the string number's length. And then, for the int is equal to 0 to less than the string number's length, and increment that integer array is equal to %, of the integer of string numbers at the index I. So now we have converted our array of string representation integers to an actual array of integers. Then we pass this to a new intent. We set up a new intent, and when we set up a new intent, remember that we use the calling class and the target class. So the calling class is main activity. We use main activity.this, and the target class is test service. We can't use this because this refers to main activity. We use .class. Then we put the extra of numbers, that numbers array, into a key named numbers, and then we start the service with that intent. Stop service just stops the service. Now, with a regular service like this, we have to stop it manually. Even if we stop it in on pause of the activity, we must remember to stop this service. Even if we stop it in another application, we must remember to stop a service. So now let's look at the test service, which is really very simple. On create, must call through to super. We also have this on bind, but we don't use this in a normal type of service. We'll talk about bound services in the third demo. But the important method here is on start command, because this is where the intent gets into the service, and the service actually gets started. So now we get a numeric array, an integer array, by getting those extras with that number array. And then the average is this calculated average, find average, num array. Find average just goes through, loops through that array, and returns the average. Then we make a text toast with the text of a string format with that average, and we use length short, and we remember to show it, and then we return the start ID. And that's it. That's all it takes to actually start a service. But we need a way to stop the service, as I said before, and so we put a button out there in this application to actually explicitly stop the service. In the manifest, we have to list the service, and here we've just listed it with its Android name as a string .test service. So it will take this package name and append test service, which is exactly what we want, because test service, we remember, is com.ebook.service1.test service. So now when we run the application, we get what we want. So here's our app running, and if we enter some numbers like 2 and 3 and 6 and 19 and 26, so forth, and 47, and we click average, we get our average of 17. Here, let me do that again. We'll stop the service. The service stopped. Start the service. We have 17.16 bar. Okay. And that's how it works. Simple services are very simple as long as we remember to stop them and also list them in the manifest. Thank you.